joining us right now. Eric Kratz being weird. Ken, good to see you. What did you think of Game 3? Do you feel like this completely changes the complexion of the series with how Scherzer was not there command-wise, and what it looks like going forward here with them going Urquidy against probably a tandem starter situation?
The complexion of the series. And John Smoltz talks about this all the time. Of course, he was in so many playoffs. And he says, one game, the narrative shifts. And yes, the narrative has shifted. The Astros, we know, are a team capable of coming back from 2-0, especially when they're on the road, because they have this weird thing when they play better on the road. And I would say the matchup tonight, Urquidy versus the Heaney-Dunning combination, which is the most likely scenario for the Rangers, is favorable for the Astros. And then you have Verlander in game 5, and things set up pretty well. And if this goes game 7, you're getting Mr. October, Christian Javier. So who knows how this will turn out? The Rangers are a fantastic team. I love watching them play. They did some things last night really well, even though they lost. So we'll see. Just have to play it out.
So does the narrative shift because of the history that we know? Or does the narrative shift based on what you saw from their players? A guy like Altuve actually gets some hits who hadn't got hits. Tucker hadn't been on base. Now he gets on base twice. So is it the predetermined narrative that we have in our head? The Astros are so good. Christian Javier is going to pitch game 7. Or was it what you saw on the field that made it shift?
That's a great point, Eric. It's what I saw and what we all saw on the field. They put up 8 runs last night. They hadn't hit really the first 2 games the way they wanted to. Alvarez is impossible to get out right now, for the most part. You have Altuve, yes, did some better things last night. Tucker really looked much better with 3 walks and a double. They have Brantley, they have Dubon, they have some things going here. And it's just, they're the Astros, man. They're there every year, and they're a team you cannot count out. We know this. We watch this. Then when they get down 2-0, you start to wonder, is this it? I wrote that. Is this it now? But here they come. And listen, I just can't wait to get to the park today and see what happens tonight. And then hopefully we have a good long series here, because these two teams are quite evenly matched in certain ways, and they're quite good. So it's fun to watch them go at each other.
Ken, there are some topics in baseball, in life, that fans and people, outside the game just love talking about. Weather / the roof situation is one of them. It just pops up on social all the time. And this is like the all roof debate series, because they talk about it all the time in Houston for years. I've always been a part of it, where fans are like, why is it open, or why are they closing it, and who's making the calls and whatever. And now we have that situation going down with Globe Life Field. So just wanted to see if you have any thoughts on the matter. And I do think it can impact a game. I mean, I know in Globe Life, like, the ball will probably travel a little bit further with the roof open.
Scott, you're absolutely right. And the players say that, the coaches say that the ball is definitely more prone to fly when the roof is open. Now, generally speaking, pitchers in particular like it closed because they want conditions controlled. And the players, too, in many cases, want it closed, especially when we have a late afternoon start and the shadows are a factor. You can understand all that. But you have certain times during the postseason when the weather is beautiful and you say to yourself, what the heck is going on here? Why is it closed? Now, in this particular park, my understanding is that the dew point and the humidity are factors when MLB makes its decision, because I guess the pipes up top can drip, something like that. I don't know. But tonight it'll be open. It's a beautiful day here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So it should be a lot of fun to see the game under the elements. It's the way the game is meant to be played. We know that. These stadiums have roofs for a reason. We know that too. The roof at Globe Life hasn't been open since May 21st. Why? Because it's hot as heck in the summer here. So it'll be fun tonight to have it open.
Hey, my question to you, Ken, I want to talk about Evan Carter real quick, how great he's been, this emerging young superstar, and how he's going to be great for years to come, which I think as well. But this might sound silly, but, the guy batted 9th, he's batted 5th, now he's batting 3rd. Can that, I don't know, lack of better, can that take a toll on a younger guy being like, all right, a little more pressure now? All of a sudden, now they're looking for him to do bigger things. I'm not questioning Bruce Bochy, but I'm thinking those Josh Young and the bottom lineup and him, they dominated that 8 and 9 hole. Can there be something to that a little bit?
I don't know, Todd. I've been around this kid for a couple of weeks now, and he is unflappable. He's one of these guys that is just enjoying himself, enjoying playing in this environment, and the Rangers feel that he can handle anything. And last night, my goodness, Christian Javier is rolling, right? He allows the 2-run homer to Young, but he gets knocked out when Carter hits a 109-mile-per-hour shot over Kyle Tucker's head on a fastball, which, of course, is Javier's dominant pitch. So I have yet to see this kid be overwhelmed by anything. And for that reason, he's fine in the number 3 spot. He's fine seemingly wherever they put him.
Have these been good games? We've had kind of blowouts. Hannah Kaiser was just on, and she said the games have kind of been I'm a huge baseball fan. You're a huge baseball fan. I find so much. I feel like the games go so fast. They're not boring. Yes. But have they been good games?
No, Eric, it's a great question. And I'm with Hannah. And Tom Verducci and I, on the way back to the hotel last night, were actually talking about this. The postseason could use a couple of classics. We really haven't had those kinds of electrifying games yet for the most part. There have been a couple. So I'm with Hannah here. I do believe I'd like to see a game end late, turn a couple times during the game. We haven't seen that. But I'm like you also, Eric, that there's so much in these games. They're so rich that I'm never bored or anything by them. But have they been as competitive as maybe we would all like? Probably not.
Let me ask you this too as well. The dugout, I know you get your conversations in. Have you gotten any backlash from that? And how's that been going with the players? Because I really enjoy, like, after a home run, you get to talk to a guy like Altuve. And, like, how's that been going?
It's going fine. And there was some backlash from fans on social media last year. But, Todd, every time I open my mouth or write something, there's backlash from fans on social media. So I'm kind of immune to it by now. It was jarring for people last year, certainly, to see this, and I understand that. I don't necessarily believe it's our place to be in the dugout. But when Fox first came to me, and they came to Tom as well about this idea, we embraced it. And we embraced it because, one, it's not terribly intrusive. We're in there for, I don't know, a minute or two. There's 2 questions max, 1 oftentimes as well. And we're out. That's it. We're out of there. It doesn't disrupt the broadcast. Everyone still gets to see what's going on in the field. And it does give insight, this is the most important thing, into what players are thinking in the moment. And that's the idea, to capture their emotions in the moment. And it can be really telling at times to see how a guy reacts to a big moment. Remember last year, Bryce Harper hit that home run off Suarez in the NLCS, the series clinching home run. And to have him available for an interview right after that was one of the cooler things in my career, to be perfectly honest. So it's going well. Now, some players say no. We have a list of players who approved it, and we have a list of players who don't. Obviously, if a player doesn't want to do it for whatever reason, he doesn't have to. Some players just don't like being distracted in any way during the game. Some have told me, Ken, I'm afraid of what I'm going to say on live TV in the moment. So it's all good, and it goes how it goes, and I'm sure we'll have some moments tonight that will be conducive to those interviews.
So one more look behind the curtain. You know who will say yes. What is the next step? When something happens, how do you decide who you're going to actually talk to? Obviously, you're mostly looking for those big moments. Is it the communication with the production team, and then you go to the PR and then to the player? What's the play-by-play?
Scott, this is a good question too. And it is interesting. So the first thing I will do is ask my producer, do we want him? Producer says yes. Producer says no. 2 outs. Generally, we don't do it. Obviously, we're going to go to commercial. And then we have a text chain with myself, a representative from Major League Baseball, and Rangers or Astros public relations representatives. And I will say, okay, are we good here? And that's how we go about it. It all happens pretty quickly. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. And then what I'll do is move from the camera well to the dugout. Different parks have different entrances. In this park, Globe Life, I have to walk out onto the field and then down the stairs into the dugout. I'm at the far end of the dugout from the manager. So I'm not disrupting the manager or pitching coach. That would not be good. And what I'll do is kind of make my way down the dugout a little bit, not going too far, and try to get the attention of the player. The player says yes or no. Even a player who is on the approved list can say not right now. and then we go from there.
So, a way to appreciate your friends, your coworkers, is to wear something custom of theirs. We saw what Maldonado did. When are you going to wear some FT foul territory shoes?
Well, if you guys make me some FT foul territory shoes, I will wear them. It was last year, I think, or 2 years ago, I wore sneakers that had the Athletic logo, the Fox Sports logo, it must have been 2 years ago, and the MLB Network logo, and we auctioned them off. It was really cool. So if you want to do something like that, Eric, I'm game, man.
What size are you? Sevens?
I'm not going to admit that on television or even or whatever.
What the?
FT
But,
bow
let me
tie
put it this
too,
way.
by the
All
way.
I'll say this, Eric. You're a good guesser.
Thank you.
You won't say it on TV. Come on, man.
I love those. Did you like those cleats that
Oh yeah,
Ken
I love
reported
all
on?
the
and
Raptors.
showed us?
I need them. Need them downstairs.
Mhm.
Hey,
Need 'em
Ken.
down.
I
Right.
want to talk to you about Jose Altuve a little bit. He's a couple homers away from being the top dog in most home runs in the playoffs. I think that's incredible for a leadoff hitter as well, man. What have you seen from him so far?
Well, until last night, he was struggling, and he was going through one of those phases that hitters go through from time to time. But he is one of the more remarkable players, honestly, that we've ever seen. And you can see when I interview him, it's the only guy in the game for the most part that I'm eye to eye with. And he is muscular, but he's not overly muscular, and yet he gets to balls that no one else can get to. John Smoltz highlighted last night that ball down that he swung through and then got a hit on the next pitch. The ball he hit for the home run was at the top of the zone, if not above. It might have been out of the zone. So he does remarkable things, bat to ball, that no other player has done. And I know fans get all over him. And I'll go back to what was said in 2019 after our report on the sign stealing and after baseball penalized the Astros. I interviewed Carlos Correa. This was on camera for MLB Network, and he was adamant that Altuve was not part of this. Later data showed that he was not part of this. I know fans identify him with it, and they think about the buzzer and all that. Stop it. Just stop it. This guy is a great player. He's been a great player for several years since this all happened, if you're still thinking he's cheating. So, really, Jose Altuve is someone worthy of our admiration and respect, and he is just so much fun to watch.
I respect. I was part of that 17 team. The respect factor to me, I would say, okay, I respect that he's a good player, but what he did, the respect factor still, I had to chime in there.
No, Todd, I get it.
Understand.
But of all the players on that team, he's
Sure,
the one
sure.
that the players have said didn't do it. So you can say, well, they're cheaters, so why wouldn't they be liars? Yeah, I get it. I get it all. But the new rules have been in place since 2020.
He's
We're in
been
2023.
unbelievable. He's been an unbelievable player.
He's still
And
Altuve.
I agree. It still stings a little bit. That's all.
I understand that, and it should, man.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No doubt.
And I would couple what Correa said. If there was somebody, because I wasn't there in 17, but I know Altuve as a person. We flew to Japan together. We played for a little bit in 16 together. I would say he didn't. If there's somebody that fans can forgive, it would be him. But forgiveness is all in the person forgiving.
Eric, it's funny because I'll say this kind of thing from time to time, and people will tell me I'm an Astros apologist. If people remember who wrote the story with Evan Drellick about the sign stealing scandal,
Exactly.
it was this guy, me. And it's not apologizing for them, but it is important to try to put things in context and to be fair. There's no question what they did was horrible. Horrible. But at the same time, of the available information we have, we can only go off what people have said. There is data that reflects that he did not do it as well or did not do it to any extent. And we've seen his performance since the new rules were instituted. At some point, you have to look at the balance of all of that has happened.
Okay, I want to take the fans really deep into Ken Rosenthal's life because you said you were on the bus with Tom Verducci before. And so when you're talking to Tom, in this picture, are you mixing like a tape for everybody? Like, are you making a mixtape?
Let me explain this picture. So AJ Brzezinski was demanding a picture of me on the bus because he thought I was flying private, which is just a crock. So we did take this bus. We called it the Fox Party bus from Houston to Dallas. And that was me sitting in the back. I wasn't mixing anything. I was trying to listen to what players had said to me and quote them accurately in what I was writing. And I wrote that story on the bus. I have obviously some physical challenges. You can take one look at me and know that. But I do have some unique qualities, or I don't know, weird things. I'm a certain age and I don't wear reading glasses. And I have the ability to write or do anything I want on the computer while in transit, in a bus, car, train, wherever. And it doesn't bother me at all. It bothers other people. And there were people who got off that bus who had a little bit of a stomach ache, put it that way. But I was just writing there. I was writing my story, and that was that.
You have great balance. You have great inner balance. That's what creates that's what it is. Maybe writing's not quite your thing. Maybe it should be like parkour or something. But that seat you stole?
I mean, I'm colorblind. I'm short. I've had 2 back surgeries. There are all kinds of flaws.
I get car sick back there.
There are certain things still got going for me, and that's one of them. I don't get car sick. Yeah.
Your superpower. And you took that. That's a flex by you, taking that seat. That is the seat on the party bus that everybody wants. So good for you.
Leg room for Kratzy.
Eric, I was like the last guy on the bus, so I don't know if I would agree with that, but yeah, it was cool.
Back middle, come on.
Back middle is a flex.
You get your legs out there, Kratzy.
Well, Ken, enjoy the next one here, and we'll grab you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Appreciate it. You too.
Cheers.